All right, guys, we are going to take you through the second workout we have here, which is a body weight only workout. Perfect if you have to stay at home or if you work from home generally, but of course times are crazy, so you may be at home anyway. And this is the workout to be done with absolutely really minimal equipment, right? What we're going to do is we're going to do some reps. Well, let me explain the program first. It's an A1, A2, A3. Then a B1, B2, B3, and a C1, C2, C3. There's no rest between the A's. So you're going to go A1, no rest, A2, no rest, and then to A3, and then take 60 seconds off before you come back to A1. Week 1, depends how deconditioned you are, you may only do this once. Then week 2, you'll do it twice. Then week 3, you do it 3 times. But if on week 1 you do it twice, then on week 2 you do it 3 times, and then week 3 you do it 4 times, right? So you're going to add progression. What's awesome is if you can do this on week 3, more on week 3 than you could have done on week 1, and that's kind of the goal of any training program, really. Then you've got same rules apply for the B's and C's. You've got no rest, B1, no rest, B2, no rest, going into 60 seconds off, and then C1, C2, and C3, same rules apply. Let me talk you through the exercises. Pretty simple stuff. We've got a prone, so face down, through here. Now, what we had before was a 6-second isometric. Now, I asked you not to necessarily use the lower back. So this was the previous one we've done on other workouts where the lower back stays still, but now I want to, how long you do a rep for also defines what muscle fiber type you do. So you could almost do the same exercise but do it with different speeds, and you'd still hit different fibers within the same muscle. So that's what we want to do here, is rather than a 6-second isometric, I want to use the lower back this time, and I want to lift up, come back down and hold. Come back, but it's not just my lower back lifting up, that's my point. I want my forearms horizontal. Again, I think I mentioned in the first video, if that's not strong, you tend to drop the elbow into a stronger position. I don't want that. I want it out at the side, and you're up, back down slow. 1, up, back down slow. 2. You do 15 reps of those, oddly enough. Then we're going to go into a split squat. Split squat, a front foot elevated split squat. Let me show you what that is. Now, I love a front foot elevated split squat. It's one of my best exercises that I do with probably my clients the most because of the mobility it gives us through the hip. What I don't want, let me actually turn this sideways so you can see it when from a hip extension and a knee perspective. I want this knee not to stay where it is and go down here. I want this knee to also come forward. When that happens, this hip gets a hell of a stretch. That's what I want. However, it won't stretch if I don't have this knee that goes lower than this. There's no point in doing a front foot elevated, right? I want that back knee to drop as well. So what I say to my clients is I want the front knee going forward and I want the back knee going down. Up, easy, right? You're going to do 15 on one side. It's not to rush. When I see clients in here and members, the biggest thing I tell them is to slow down. So most people just drop down, drop up. If you do 3 seconds, 3, 2, 1, if you don't feel a stretch on this hip, move back a little bit. Or if it's too far, see how now I can't really push this knee forward. So there's a sweet spot. Coming up, of course you're not going to have your hand there. 3, 2, 1, up, coming down. If you do 3 seconds down, 1 second up, my heart rate's already elevated. That's pretty tough. You're going to go 15 on one side, then 15 on the other. Cool, that is really, really tough in itself. Then you're going to come back down here. We're going to progress what we did before. So the lower back now, on the program we did before, there was no really lower back extension. Then we did it for reps. Now we're going to ask for lower back isometric while we change what we do up top. So as we come up here, come up and hold. Now what I'm going to do is just slowly extend one hand. But while I extend this hand, my thinking is actually on this arm. So what I do is I try and lock it in and I try to get external rotation in as much as I can. I don't let this just fade off and then I just do this. So I lock both in, keep this one in and push up slowly. Lock the right one in, pushing the left. And I actually feel that more on my right shoulder blade because I'm squeezing in so tight than the left. That is tough. And even in keeping a lower back exercise for that long is tough. It is 15 each side, so it's 30 reps in total. Cool? That is your 3. So you got the first 90-degree one for reps, coming up, coming back down. We're incorporating the lower back this time, coming up, coming back down. 15 of those. Then you go into a split squat. 15, a front foot elevated split squat. 15 on one side, no rest, 15 on the other. Your legs will be quaking after that. They should be shaking. If not, you're probably going too fast. I would slow it down. Then you're going to go into your reps with the one arm extension on the floor. That is your A1, that is your A2, that is your A3. Then you get 60 seconds off, then you do it all again. I don't want to do it again, that's pretty exhausting stuff. But let me show you through the Bs. We've got B1, we've got B2, we've got B3. Now it's a lot of back work we've been doing, and we want to change to kind of some shoulder stuff. So a pike push-up is definitely more shoulder orientated than the normal push-up. So if I'm going to get as much as I can up here, but I don't bend my knees, and then from here my hamstrings are kind of maxed here, and I'm going to take my forehead into the ground. But if I take my forehead above where the line of my thumbs is, it's too hard. Even I couldn't really get there, and then you're asking for some sort of push from here. My forehead is to be touched between my line and my thumbs. So if my hands are way back here, it's definitely a shoulder press up through there. If I want to make it easier, I come back here, but I still touch between my thumbs. Cool? Back up through there. That is your pike push-up. You do, oddly enough, 15 of those. Don't rush it. Come down slowly, and then take it from there. Now, second exercise, we want to get more hamstring dominant. This was definitely more quads. You would have felt those burning. Side lunge with toe touch. Now, I'll show you why we do this. I love this exercise. And I've got a dumbbell here, but this could be anything. This could be a jar of chickpeas. But you've got a weight in your hand. And really it's not about the weight, it's more about giving an object a touch to your toe. When I do my side lunge, normally we get a lot of knee on a side lunge, knee going over the toe. I like that in terms of ankle mobility, it's good. But I'm going to come and I'm going to touch whatever I'm holding to my toe. The reason for that is it forces me to bend forward at the hips, so it almost becomes a hamstring glute more exercise. Whereas you can see on the first one, I didn't bend forward at all, so it becomes a quad exercise. So this is how we can manipulate what muscles we use. But just note, both feet are staying flat. This one doesn't come up, because if this one stays flat, and then when I go to the other side, this one comes up, then it's not, you're not measuring apples versus apples. So you want to keep the both feet flat and facing 12 o'clock. Come forward, make touch, come back up. What we see often with clients is they stay low. And the whole idea of making you touch your toe is you've got this bending forward and extension. Bending forward and extension. I want that here still. So come forward, touch, but stand up tall. Then I go to the other side. Touch, stand up tall. 15 on each side is oddly enough 30. Then it's a push-up. Now we wrote this down, and I wrote dumbbell touch. It could be object touch. It could be anything. It's not about the dumbbell. It's the fact that you're touching it. So you've got your push-up, and then I'm going to come up. I'm going to touch. Boom. Cool. Coming up. Now, as you could pick up, this is probably more, just as much chest and core work, and it's just more heart rate as well. The biggest thing here is moving the hips. So as I do it, what I'll see, let's say I'm going to lift my left hand. I literally turn my left hip to prep, take it through my shoulder to touch, and you'll see this. You'll see people just move their hips heaps. That's not an abdomen. That's not pushing your abdominals. That's not working on your core. So you want to, I say to my clients, if I didn't know which hand you're lifting, I want the hips to be so still that I wouldn't know. So, in other words, I'll lift my left hand, watch my left hip, and I stay still, touch. Now, take your feet wider definitely helps. So a progression to make it harder would be making your feet skinnier, but you need to take your feet wide enough to keep your hips still. Man, that's your 3, right? You've got your pike push-up, which you're coming through here. bang, down, up. Then you've got your side lunges with toe touch. Coming down here. I know I gave you an object, you could just touch, but I just find with an object it makes it quantifiable. People definitely touch and stand up in between, and then going into your push-up with a object touch. Now, let's go to the C1, C2, C3. Just a reminder, B1, B2, B3, 0 rest, 60 seconds after the push-ups with a object touch. Cool? The C's, I'm going to come over, well, I can actually do it here. I don't like this because I'm not very good at it, and definitely upper body mobility is not my forte. So in other words, I need to do it more often, right? But the more you put your base of your back against the bottom, really the harder it's going to be. I got to come off just a little bit to get this done. But all you're going to do is get the hands so they are touching the walls. Now already I feel that through my mid-back. This is the same, literally the same sort of thoracic mobility as an overhead squat. So my elbows are on, I externally rotate until my hands are touching the wall, and then I'm going to slide them up, keeping. Now again, I feel that all the way through my back. It's not nothing to do with the shoulders, it's my mid-back being flexible enough to get there. And I'm going to coming down all the way down. I've actually lost a little bit on my right hand. Come back up, pushing up, and there's 10 times. So coming down 1, up is 1, that would be 2, but slow it down. Cool? It's all about just back mobility. That's what we want to do. And then we've got a running mountain climber. So we're here. Running is just straightforward. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Obviously the goal of that is heart rate. So mobility, let's get the heart rate back up before we do our sit-ups, which is simply a sit-up through here, and we're going to touch 1, touch 2, so we add a little bit of rotation in from what we've done on the first protocol. Up, 1, 2, back down. Man, that is your C1, your C2, your C3. Again, yeah, your heart rate is going to be cranking after that. And again, no equipment, pretty simple stuff, but fast pace, and definitely a workout that you can do at home with no equipment.